Melanie Johnson, daughter of 13-time Top Fuel champion tuner Alan Johnson, will pilot the McPhillips Racing Top Alcohol Dragster during the 2025 NHRA Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series season. Melanie is a third-generation racer, made her debut in Top Alcohol driving for McPhillips Racing during the 2024 Fall Regional event in Vegas. After competing in Super Comp, she earned her Top Alcohol license and is now racing this year, and I have her live on the podcast with me. Her fastest speed is 274.11 miles per hour during her qualifying at the Las Vegas regional event. Fun fact, she's also a former softball player and multi-sport athlete, and I'm so excited to dive into her mental game and how she is mentally strong going hundreds of miles per hour behind the wheel of a drag car. Melanie, welcome to the pod.
Thank you for having me. Oh, this has been a great experience just to find the links between the softball world and the drag racing world.
I love it so much. And so my students will probably laugh at me, but we connected because I started fangirling and I slid into your DMs because I said, you are so cool. You play softball, you drive a drag car, you are in a very male dominated field, and you're in a field that requires a lot of mental stamina. And I just had to interview you. So let's back up a few steps. Tell us, who are you? Where are you from? And what's a day in the life? Like, where are you at? What are you doing right now?
Yeah. So I'm Melanie Johnson, and I was born and raised in Santa Maria, California, Central Coast, lots of strawberry fields, all that good stuff. I grew up playing softball. I started, I think, when I was four, turning five, started playing t-ball and played all the way through high school, went off to college, transitioned to throwing the javelin for the track and field team. Got out of college, joined a slow pitch team. We're still playing together. And now I also drag race. And drag racing has been a part of my family for three generations. And it's just a passion that we have. We all love it. We kind of built our community and our family, extended family around the drag racing world. Day to day right now, I'm the marketing manager at Quantum Fuel Systems. So I run the e-commerce marketing, SEO, GEO, conversion rate, all of that. And that's my day to day. And on the weekends, I escape to the drag strip.
That's so awesome. And you just got back from Vegas, right?
Yes. Yeah. I got back from Vegas over the weekend and have a weekend off before the last race in Pomona, California next weekend.
Amazing. And for those that are listening, I would love for you to explain. I mean, I can explain what drag racing is. I grew up going to Topeka, Kansas every year. It was a tradition with my dad, but kind of explain, what is drag racing in a very layman's term. If you've never heard of drag racing or NHRA, it's a phenomenal sport. It gets my blood just pumping thinking about it, and it's even a great sport to watch on TV. So how do you explain it to people that maybe have no idea what it is?
Yeah, it's Fast and Furious is probably the best example of, a movie that a lot of people have watched where it is just two cars lining up side by side and the first one to the finish line wins. So in the class that I race, Top Alcohol Dragster, we're going 0 to 270 plus miles an hour in under 5.3 seconds. And that's to a quarter mile. So it's really a one shot, that's all you got. That you don't get a redo. It's not like NASCAR. NASCAR's the household name, recognize
Right.
you're just doing circles all day. If you have a bad lap, you can just make it up. You can kind of work your way back to the top if something goes wrong. But in drag racing, it is one shot down the track. So it's pretty intense.
Right. And from a bracket perspective, comparing it to a softball bracket, how many drivers would be in your class on any given event?
So last weekend we had 23 cars qualifying for 16 spots, and then we pair down and race for just the last man standing, basically. So four rounds, and with that 16 car bracket,
Yeah, and it's a 3 day or 2 day? What are a
three
typical event?
days.
Yeah.
Typical events, 3 days.
Okay, so we're just going to dig into this because again, I'm fangirling. One of the things I really wanted to quiz you on is you've already talked about it. You have one shot to get down the track, and if you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. And so we talk about failure recovery a lot with our athletes inside our programs in different sports. It's not like NASCAR, as you said, it's not like soccer or volleyball where, oh, okay, we have another point. This is your shot. So take us through, let's say you go and you're not satisfied with your run, you don't make it, but then now you're bumped down to a loser's bracket. What's it called in the drag racing world?
You're done. There's no losers
Right.
bracket. Yeah. It's
You're
a
done.
yeah, if you lose the round, that's it. You wait till the next race, and that could be next weekend or it could be 6 weeks from now, just depending on your schedule. So it's sometimes it can be a hard pill to swallow, but as a driver, you have to focus on what you are doing inside the car and the racing program that I'm a part of, there's crew guys that are tuning the car. They're making decisions on, okay, track conditions, weather conditions, and trying to get the best performance out of the car. I'm not involved in that. I understand how it works and I'm very nerdy about it, but I have to zone in. I got to focus on just my job when I'm in the car. So if we go out there and I cut a good light, which that means having a good reaction time, and we just have a slower car, I don't like to lose, but ultimately I have to focus on, okay, I did my job. They're doing their job. They're going to take notes. They're going to get this worked up. They're going to come back better next weekend or the next race. And it's really difficult to experience that frustration of, man, it feels like we're doing everything right, but we just can't catch a break. But in drag racing, you just have to keep being consistent. You have to keep doing all the small things right. And I think that's applicable to every sport and life. Is just if you can do all the small things right, it prepares you for when things do align and go right for you, and those wins do come.
Yeah, and there's an element of things are outside of your control. So talk about track conditions. Talk about weather conditions. And you're headed to Pomona. There is varying, of the I'm trying to think of where it's at, but it's the where you're in the mountains. Is that Pomona? Or is that
So Pomona is gonna be pretty close to sea level, but
okay?
last weekend in Vegas we had quite a lot of
Altitude.
altitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the style of engine that we run, it's an injected nitromethane engine. So we is naturally aspirated to some extent. And in our class, there's also supercharged cars. So they can sometimes have an advantage at that altitude because they're forcing air into their engine where that thin air, it just is really hard to create power with. So okay, we know that's our setup. That's what we have to work with. We're gonna just tune it to the best we can. And like what happened second round, we were racing a blower car. He's number 2 in the world right now and has just got a really fast car. And we got beat. I cut a decent light. We made our best run of the weekend, or one of our best runs of the weekend, and just got beat. And leaving a weekend like that is, it actually does feel positive because we did make strides. We did put down one of our best runs, and it just makes me excited for the next event, especially coming down to sea level. And the track conditions in Pomona in November are usually really good because it's a little bit cooler air. The engine really likes that. It's easy to make power. That track in particular is slightly downhill. We're talking like quarter of an inch slant or some minute thing, but it helps you get wheel speed because you are traveling downhill somewhat. So there's
Which
just all these little
a
things.
quarter mile. What's a quarter mile? Two and a half football fields? Three football?
1,320 feet, so divided by 3, that's 4 football fields
Yeah.
almost.
And you have
Yeah.
to get it there in 5 seconds, right? Like
Mhm. Yeah.
there these minor when you say small things, we
Mhm.
are legitimately talking about small levers, small changes, small
Yep.
focal points that you're adjusting every run.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what are
you're
some of
talking
the
about, like, half a gallon less or more of fuel here and there on the run, talking about a little less timing in your computer. It's grams, like the weight of the weight of a dollar bill is what we would change on the clutch because it's a centrifugal clutch. And I won't get into all the mechanics, but you're changing the weight of a dollar bill when you're taking nuts on and off of that thing. So it's tiny run to run,
Yeah.
tiny changes. And that could be the difference between going out and having a personal best run or smoking the tires at the hit.
Right.
It's
So what are the things that you're focusing on? Talk us through, from, second in line, third in line, your runs coming up. Like walk us through a pre-run routine. Like what are you focusing on? What are you saying to yourself?
Mhm.
Like put us in the seat with you.
Yeah. So we leave our pit, and I've got all of my gear in the tow vehicle because we don't start the car up until we get to the starting line. Tow up, and we're sitting in the staging lanes. I wait till there's probably 6 pairs of cars before me before I get in the car. I don't want to get in too early and have to sit there in silence and marinate. That just creates too much opportunity for negative thoughts and distractions to happen. So I got that timed out. Okay, it's about 6 cars left before I run. I start putting my earplugs in, and I always go right, left for everything. Right, left, right, left, right, left. It's just a routine. And it's not that I'm superstitious about it. It's just that I don't want to have to think about it. And I just want to do the same thing every time. Doing the same thing every time limits the room for error. So earplugs go in, headset goes on, helmet goes on, and once that helmet goes on, it just is silent. It is, this is my place, the helmet's on, it's the physical barrier between me and the outside world, and the only people I really interact with after that point are the guys working on my car, or maybe my parents if they come up and give me a fist bump or something. um, Fire suit comes up, we're zipped up, jump in the car, get strapped in, call it squeaky tight because you cannot move, you can hardly take a deep breath. Um, but that's just, it almost feels like a security blanket being strapped in, and you're just like, okay, like locked in, ready to go. And after I get strapped in, crew guy walks away, and that's basically just my time to really find the zone. And it's a little bit different, race to race, run to run. Some weekends I it comes really easy, and I can, boom, the world's blocked out. I'm focused on just what I need to do, and my mind's very clear. And there's some weekends where it's really hard to get to that point. Maybe there's more family, maybe there's dinner plans later on, and I want to see a friend in town, or there's all these little distractions that start to pop in your head when you have these silent moments. And it can be really hard to block that out. But I know I have, okay, 6 cars, that amount of time to really focus, clear it out. We're not thinking about anything. I've made enough runs in this car where I don't have to think about all the little routines and all of the procedures. It's all muscle memory. And it was almost easier to get focused in the beginning when I did have to think about all those little procedural things, because you're just running the, okay, clutch in, brake on, switch on when we start the car, ease out of the brake, ease off the clutch to roll through the wall. Like all these little things you're thinking about when you're just learning how to get this routine down, forces you to focus on the job at hand. But when that becomes muscle memory, it's almost harder to, okay, block it all out. You know what to do. You just have to not think and react. And that's the exciting part, is where you can get to that point where you're just reacting to the light on the starting line, not having to think about anything. So we're pulling up. I've worked on this focus. I'm blocking things out. If I start to get a negative thought, like don't be late, or don't red light, or what if it smokes like all these things, all, and the more you race, the more laps you have down the track, the more memory you have, and the more events and different things that could come up, they just start bubbling up, and it's like, nope, block it all out. you I have to tell myself, I can do this, I have done this, I will do this. I And I could just repeat it as many times as I need to stop those thoughts, because they're always gonna be there. The brain is crazy. The brain it's weird, it's almost got this self-destructive structure to it, but you can control it. And I've found that and it's different things on different weekends. Like last Thursday before I went to Vegas, I had a really good slow pitch game and I hit a home run, and it was so smooth, and it was just like slow motion, and that feeling of like just seeing the ball and knowing, "Yeah, I'm gonna smash this ball." And so over the weekend, I used that. I used that experience, and it was like just that home run feeling. Just so
Cool.
simple, but that home run feeling. And it's funny to bring it all back. And I'm not kidding. Like, this is real. Using an experience from the night before, that's something that was exciting and was peaceful, and that energy, it just reminds me that I can do it. Like, I know how to be an athlete. Being a driver is being an athlete. You're trusting your instincts, you're trusting your body. You can do it. And
Absolutely.
that's, yeah, we get up to the starting line and they say, "Fire them up." And Richie, my crew chief, says, "All right, clutch in, brake on." It's like lights out. It's just dead focus. Not a single thought goes through my head. It's almost an outer body experience of my body knows exactly what to do. There's no thoughts after that point. It's just peace
Right.
almost.
And I want to point out when you're saying, when you start to have those negative thoughts in your approach, you're saying I block them out, but you're also using a technique called self-talk where you're giving the radio waves what you do want to pay attention to, and you're
Hmm.
anchoring in the proof that you know to be true. It's not flowery, positive, I'm the best driver, I'm gonna win.
No.
It's just facts. I can hit
Yeah.
home runs. I'm a boss. I'm an athlete. And so the tool that you're using, and I hope our warriors and everyone listening, these aren't just feel good things. These are real things that you've experienced. And when your brain can start to key into that proof, the more that you start trusting that muscle memory, it's not
Hmm.
superstitious. You're literally building more mental reps with each physical rep, and you're just going to get that much better and better. And this
Yeah.
to me is why I wanted to interview you, because if you're not, there's a lot at stake.
Yeah.
This isn't going up to bat and oh, you might get hit by a pitcher. Like, no, you're strapped in. What did you call it when you're strapped in tight?
Squeaky tight.
Squeaky tight. Like you're in the car. There's no
Yeah.
bailing out.
Nope. Yeah, it's and there's a lot of people putting their lives into this, and their time investment into setting up this car, and towing this car around the country to race, and getting it trying to get it perfect. And I want to make sure that I do my job to give us the best chance to win.
Mhm.
Everybody's doing their job, and you don't want to be the weakest link, but you can't put that pressure on yourself
Right.
either. It's drag racing is a combination of being an individual sport and a team sport, because it's a team to get the car together, to get all the work done, the setup, the breakdown. But as soon as you get to that line, the car is started up, you're on your own.
You're
You
up.
have all the power is in your right foot. You stay in it or you get out. All the power relies on the driver, and you have to trust yourself. And that's the other thing with going down there. Maybe it's not making a great run and it starts to shake the tires, and knowing, okay, it's time to lift. I got to get out of it. It's all by the seat of your pants, and no one from the outside can see or feel what you're feeling in the car. And you have to trust this is the right move right now. And you can pedal it and hook it back up. If you're in competition, you're racing the other person. You want to make sure you get it to the finish line. Maybe they're experiencing the same thing.
Because yeah,
And I've
you
had it.
don't know what's going on in the other lane. So you can't
Yeah.
assume, right? There's so much
Hmm.
that goes into this.
Until you see that car flying past you and they're not having any problems, you're doing your best to get it to the other end of the track. And I've had a couple round wins like that this year, where Indy first round was one of those. And I caught the car super quick. I pedaled it and got it to hook up. And the person I was racing against, they shook as well. And their parachute shook out. It was shaking so hard. And um, they were pedaling it, and I just happened to catch it quick enough and got it down there, and it was incredible. Is that feeling of like I did it. I knew what it felt like and reacted super quick to it. Um,
5 seconds or
but
less.
it's
Like we're talking
yeah,
about, you were having to make
this
these
is
decisions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was 1 second into the run. So you just hit the gas, you're just pinned to the back of your seat, and now your head's rattling like crazy, and you get off the gas and you get back on the gas as quick as you can, hooks up, goes down. You're recollecting yourself. You gotta
Right.
figure out in just milliseconds, okay, this is where I'm at on the track. I'm still in the middle of the groove. I'm 300 feet out. We got a long ways to go. And it's just, it starts to feel like slow motion. But when I can go up there and I have a clear mind, that all comes easier because I'm not anticipating it. I'm just reacting to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so this is kind of a selfish personal question. What does it look like? Like you're going that fast. Is it blurry? Like where do your eyes go? How do you focus? Like what are you focusing on? Where are you looking?
So yeah, so when we pull up to the water box, that's like the starting area at the bottom end of the track. We're lined up and I'm looking down track and I'm finding a focal point. And it's something that doesn't move because you can sometimes there's roads that are, highways and stuff on the backside of the track that there's cars. You don't want to focus on cars. You're focusing on something that's not going to move, somewhat in the center of your alignment on the track. And okay, that pick that point, that's where I'm driving. And it's not that I'm staring at that point, it's that my peripheral vision is focused there while I'm staring down the track. It's kind of a weird
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to explain because everything in your peripheral is, yes, blurry, you can't see much, but you can see the other car very clearly if they're they're pulling out in
Sure.
front of you because you're both moving quite a bit. Um, and the cockpit of the dragster has blinders between the carbon fiber body that goes to a certain point, and then there's a decal on the part of the windshield that's right around, my peripheral vision. So it helps keep the focal point down.
So there
So
that's
I'm seeing
intentional.
that's intentional, yeah.
Okay.
So you don't have all this, you don't need all this other extra space. You need to be able to see right in front of you. We
Sure.
don't turn, we're going straight. So focus straight.
I
And
really hope that everyone listening, if you're not into drag racing, I hope I'm converting you because I'm a super fan. And if you have not, just just
just,
Google
yeah.
top alcohol dragster or top fuel NHRA and like just see
Hmm.
what Melanie is talking about because it's
Hmm.
very tiny. Is it called a cockpit? What is it called for you
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah. We call it a cockpit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so again, like I'm nerding out on all of this because you're talking about self-talk, you're talking about failure recovery, you're talking about focal points. These are all mental skills that you're using. What else are you using to get the competitive advantage?
I would say the quick twitch muscles, training that physically, just and being athletic and I get asked a lot, like, what kind of preparation do you do to get in the car? It's not like F1. There's the F1 Academy where you've got the crazy steering wheels and you're strengthening your turning and they're
Oh,
putting their heads in things and pulling. We don't have anything like that for drag racing, and there's no simulators that simulate you getting thrown back into your seat when you hit the gas. It's you get in the car and you do it. And that's the thing about moving up in the ranks is that you just have to get used to that speed, get used to that movement. If you can limit the movement of your body, your head in the car, if you set yourself up just right and you're not moving, everything comes to you, everything slows down because you're not adding any more movement. So we've got head and neck restraints, and I've got a chin strap that goes down into the 7-point harness. We have a 7-point harness now. And so I'm locked in. I can't move like this. So when I hit the gas, it's a tiny movement. And so if you think about if that were a little bit loose and you moved back, well, now you're adding more movement to your eyes to get used to as you're going down the track and you're accelerating. This is going to affect how well you keep up with the car. So every driver has their preference, but I found that I want very little movement because I don't want to add any more depth perception issues
which
to
holla
keeping up with the car.
as a
Yeah,
softball hitter, the best
don't move
hitters
your head.
don't move their head. Geeking out. Okay, keep
Exactly.
going. This is
Yeah.
awesome.
It all comes back.
Yeah.
But yeah, for physical preparation, I lift weights. I try to eat pretty healthy, 80% of the time at least, keep it very clean, stay hydrated, avoid alcohol. I don't want to be drinking during the weekends when I'm racing. It creates fogginess. I need to have mental clarity. I need to have focus.
Yeah.
And the physical preparation is just getting in the gym, moving my body, staying athletic, staying ready, because your quick twitch muscle in that right foot, it's got to be on, it's got to be ready. And then I guess half mental, half physical practice at home is a practice tree. So I have the practice tree at home. I'm sure you've seen the video that I did on
Yep.
that. It's on my
Which for
Instagram.
everyone listening is the lights that time to tell you when to hit the gas, when to race.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's practicing that procedure of pre-stage, stage, and then reacting to the yellow lights, because by the time you see yellow and you hit the gas, the light will be green. So that's a whole other science as well. It's a 4/10 tree, so you've got 4/10 of a second between the time the lights turn yellow and the green light comes on. So it just helps. It creates the more recognizable reaction times in modern day racing, just that bit of time difference. So
Cool.
yeah, I've got my setup at home and I practice for 15-20 minutes a day. I find if I practice too much, I just start thinking about it more, and it's not reactionary.
Sure.
You got to get in and you got to focus. And um, if I go through a slump in that, I'll take a break and then I'll come back to it. And that's the nice part about being able to practice it at home is you work all these things out, like your routine and your mental approach to the tree. You get to work on that here, whereas on the track, you're not thinking and you're just in the moment and your adrenaline's high and y- there's just not much going on, not much you can control besides that. It
Right.
just it's a muscle memory.
Well, so I have to bring this into the conversation. It's waiting on my computer on a sticky note. I want to make sure I say this right. On one of your recent runs, it was a 10 thousandths of a second, 7/10,000ths of a second difference. So 0.0007 is what allowed you to win.
Yes. Yeah, that was in Indy in the second round, and that felt like the race win because of the competitor I was up against. He had a very fast car. He was very on his reaction times that weekend, so I knew I needed to be at my best and cut my one of my best lights of the season, and the guys gave me a great car, and it was crazy because I could see we're wheel to wheel the whole way down the track. You can't see much, but when you're that close to somebody, you could just see the nose of their car,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, oh, it could go either way. Either way,
Mm-hmm.
don't know. And it's once you've done enough runs, it really does feel like 10 seconds going down the track at this point. And so it's just like you stay in it, just foot down, just get it there, go, 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 go. And we go through the finish line and they have little lights on the sides of the wall, um, on both sides of the wall so the driver can see if they won the round or not. And I see that light go on and I lost it. I was like, this is insane. I knew it was so close. And then when we got out of the cars at the top end and the other guy had looked at the time slip, they print out little receipts basically with all the incremental times and the reaction times. And we were both looking at it. We were both mind blown. Obviously, he was upset. He didn't have as good a light. So he didn't have a bad light, but he didn't have as good as ones he's had previous rounds. And I could not believe 7/10,000ths of a second. I think it's 12 inches, or I forget what it was. It's in the article, but we're talking about like this much distance out of a 300-inch car going 275 miles an hour. It's that is almost unheard of in our class because of how many variables there are and how fast the cars are moving.
Right.
You see that in some of the lower classes, the kind of the slower cars where they're they're trying to be
Oh,
really
sure.
close. Yeah,
Sure.
but in our class, that is just unheard of. Yeah.
Right. So cool. Well, I have so many questions I want to ask you, and I want to be mindful of time. I have to ask this one, and it's pretty straightforward. Do you ever have fear?
Mm, when I'm in the car, no. I it disappears. And the fear that I have is not of crashing, or it's the fear of failure, I think. Um Mostly. And it doesn't come up a lot
Yeah.
because I've worked on all these mental fortitude to be
Yeah.
able to do this sport. But one of the best drivers in Fuel Funny Car said it best, like, if you're scared of these cars, you have no business getting in the car. So it's not a fear of the car, it's not a fear of drag racing. It's just that fear of failure. And
Yeah.
I do everything I can to stay away from that place because it's not beneficial. It's not going to help me get better. So I can't dwell on it. It's a kind of a passing thing.
Yeah.
And it typically will start to show after a rough weekend, like, "Ah, I wasn't cutting lights very good. I want to improve on this aspect of my drive." Then it's like, like, I didn't do as good as I should have. It feels like I wasted a weekend. And
Mm.
that's when it starts to creep in. It's like, nope,
Yeah.
clear it out. It's gone. It's done.
Right.
Can't change it.
Well, I think this is a good conversation piece for how athletics are changing with NIL. Is that
Hmm.
now I think what you're describing in the racing world is you have sponsors. We're talking about thousands of dollars, travel, trailers across the country, and multiple people working on your team to build everything. And now we relate this to softball, and it's like, well, this fear of failure is monumental compared to what we used to experience. How would you go back and maybe change your softball career? Like, well, how would you treat sports different, knowing what you know now about the pressures that you're facing? Would it make
Man,
softball easier?
I would take it a lot less seriously.
Yeah.
And putting so much pressure on myself back then. There was no need for it, especially being 13, 14 years old. And I pitched pretty much from the time I was 10 through high school. I was kind of the backup pitcher in high school. Outfield was my passion. I loved it. But the way that I pitched in high school was really that attitude of, like, I am the backup pitcher. I come in when we are failing, and I'm just gonna throw my changeups, and it's gonna be all good, and just that relaxed mode. Versus when I was 13, 14, and thought, oh, I want to be a pitcher. I have to strike everybody out. I got to throw hard. I it's just not that important. It's not that serious, and you're gonna play better, and you're gonna be better if you're not putting so much pressure on every single play. And it's yeah, I really go back to a lot of those days in outfield, and that the mental approach to outfield is totally different. And I think it's a lot of visualization. And I did want to touch on that as well, is the visualization part of any sport, but how that related to drag racing. I would be in the outfield and I would visualize a line drive coming to me, and I'm running it down and I dive and catch it. And what do you know, like a batter later, that happens. And it is weird. It's an intuition thing, it's a being prepared thing. But thinking of, okay, if a ground ball comes to me right now, there's a run on second base, I am nailing this throw to home base and I'm going to throw her out. And it would happen. It's, I mean, obviously the law of averages, of course, it would happen eventually, but it just felt like every time I had that thought, that thing would happen. And so coming to drag racing, like I said, there's no physical preparation you can do it for exactly being in the car. So visualization is a huge tool that you can use to go through all your procedures. This is when I'm learning. We're talking back in August 2024. I'm in Brainerd, Minnesota, about to get my first licensing runs. Well, it didn't just happen. I didn't just get in the car. I've spent the last 3 months studying the procedure write out that the crew chief gave me of like, this is all the things you're gonna do. This the steps, this is what we're gonna have you focus on. I'm running through every single one of those things in my head. And then I'm running through going down the track and I'm picking up all the cones because one of the guys that I've worked with in the past for super comp racing, he said, count the cones on the track so you know where you're at. That slows down the car. It brings the track to you. You know, okay, I'm at the 330-foot mark. I'm at the 660. I'm at the 1,000 foot. Now I'm at the quarter mile, and you lift off the gas. So visualizing, seeing that, and speeding it up because I don't have the experience of being in this car yet. I don't know what the speed's going to feel like, but I'm going to speed it up in my head, and I'm going to do this repetition after repetition. When I got in the car, it really felt so natural and it felt like I'd done it before. And I wasn't nervous. I was just excited to finally do what I've been dreaming of doing.
Right. Which is awesome. You have given us so many real, tangible examples of mental skills across multiple things, right? Like whether you're a softball athlete or, hey, I hope after you listen to this episode, I don't know who we're inspiring, but you make me want to like change my careers because I always thought it would be so cool. Here's another question. You're in a very male dominant field. What are your thoughts on maybe females that want to pursue these goals, these dreams, but they're wondering, I'm not seeing a lot of representation. Obviously, things have changed in the last couple of years, but what's it like?
I've been very lucky to be a part of the time in drag racing right now. The landscape is very female for females can do it. Females
Yeah,
are here. We're winning. And it doesn't feel like as much of an uphill battle. And from my personal experience, everybody has been so welcoming. And I think if you wear the attitude of confidence in yourself and I belong here, no one can take that away from you. It doesn't matter what sport, what job, anything. It starts with you. And what you put out is what people are gonna see. And if you're shy and you're sheepish and you don't feel like you belong, you got to fake it because people are going to pick it out. And this isn't just drag racing, this is in life. If you feel like you don't belong there and you're putting that out there, people are going to know. So get your confidence right, just believe in yourself, and you'll make it anywhere.
I
i
love
i
that.
truly believe that.
Yeah. Well, self-trust. I mean, confidence comes
Mhm.
from self-belief and self-trust, which is evident in our conversation. Last question, and well, technically a cheater question because we want to follow you on social. So I'll ask that in a second. But what is the best piece of advice that you've been given?
um I would say best piece of advice for drag racing specifically has come from my dad, and it's don't put so much pressure on yourself for every run. You need to remind yourself that it's not the end of the world if you don't win this race. And that, I mean, that applies to softball, your at bat. If you don't get a hit this at bat, it's not the end of the world. There's going to be another at bat. You can't make that moment too big. Otherwise, you're just going to get in this hole. And so, yes, it's a piece of drag racing advice, but I like to take those things throughout life.
Love it. I love it so much. Okay, where can we follow you? You're posting a lot on Instagram. Is that the best
Mhm.
place?
Yeah, yeah. Instagram's the best place. Melanie Johnson Racing is my handle. Same thing on my Facebook page. I try to mix up a little bit of the content, but most of my stuff is going to be on Instagram. And then you can also visit my website, melaniejohnsonracing.com.
Which is awesome. Okay, well, good luck in Pomona. We're cheering you on. I'm going to continue to bug you in your DMs. I'll be your biggest fan, and I hope one day I can watch you race in person because you are just so cool.
Thank you so much for having me, and it's been a pleasure getting to talk to you.
Amazing.